Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Chorus Cornix, so welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week I did something different. I went to a convention, but I also played a game, so I'll first talk about the convention that I went to, and then I'll talk about the game, and I'll probably put in a timestamp in the description so you can, know what's what. So the convention that I went to is called Retromania. It is usually held in Örebro, Sweden, but this year it was held in Västerås. For some reason, I think they're doing a tour across Sweden to, get to other places. And one of the stops was Gothenburg, I believe. But the funny story was that I was not supposed to go to this convention at all. So during my work day or my work week, another girl at the office section told me about this convention because her husband was looking for He-Man toys. And I didn't know he was a collector at all. But she said, this is a convention for video games and comic books and all sorts of nerdy cool stuff. And she believed that I would like it. So she said that I had no excuse. And the first thing I said, well, I have laundry to do. And she said, you can rebook it to another day. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I got the tickets and I was on my way. So I woke up early that morning. I got dressed and I went to the bus stop, took the bus there. And I was nervous. I've been to the city before, but never at the Congress Hall. So Google Maps led me through a park and into the backstage area where there were a couple of roadies and where basically they, delivered the food to. And I was like, this can't be the right place. Google, you have betrayed me once again. But then I went around the corner, there was this lineup and there was this guy in a Sonic jacket. And I asked him if this was the right line because I said, I'm nervous, never been here before. And he said the same thing. So I stood there and waited in line for a bit, and then I looked into the windows, and there were a couple of arcade games and sellers. So I knew we were at the right place, and security walked in and out of the building. So they have this thing at the website, you can buy VIP tickets, and then there were tickets for the press and newspapers and stuff like that. They went down in an hour and a half before us. So I stood there in line and just waited to get in. And meanwhile I was waiting, there were some really weird guys in cosplay. One of them was portraying a priest from the Helsing vampire series, and he was kind of cool. He had the overcoat and swords, just like the character. And there was this other really super weird guy with the Venom kind of hand puppet thing, and he did not know what personal boundaries were. He walked around with that thing in everybody's face, and it's not even funny. But I can have sort of an understanding for his mental state and whatnot, but I don't like when people get close like that. So once inside, I realized that this place is really big. The convention was taking up 2 whole floors, the bottom floor and the second floor. So at the first floor, there were a lot of stuff actually, by toys, plushies, pixel art, games, retro games mostly, I would say, VHS tapes, DVDs, comics, posters, even a Lego building section. It's a whole lot of things to take in. They even had arcades, as I said, and a couple of pinball machines. Really cool. So I had a checklist on things that I wanted to buy at the convention, and it was mostly drinkware, like cool characters on drinking glasses and a couple of t-shirts because I need more t-shirts. But I went up leaving with mostly Kirby stuff, actually all Kirby stuff. I got a keyring, I got 2 Japanese ports of Kirby 64 and Kirby 2 for the Game Boy. So if you can't tell, I'm a huge Kirby fan. So I didn't stay that long at the convention. I got what I wanted and then I more or less left. I took a couple of extra laps around and see if I missed something that I wanted, but I was all good. I was all happy. This was one thing out of a blue moon. I wasn't expecting anything, and I came in with nothing. I left with happiness and stuff that I actually like to put in my, collector's cabinet and on my walls and stuff like that. It's silly, but the small things that makes me happy, that's what I'm after. So now I'll talk about a less happier thing that I had to do this week. I played a game called Soko Penguine. So Soko Penguine is a slide block puzzle game, an indie title developed in 2024 by Verju and published by East Asia Soft. And there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. So I wanted to play Cool Spot this week, and I was convinced that it was on the Nintendo 8-bit, but it wasn't. It's on Super Nintendo and Genesis, so I couldn't get around to play it. But as they say, the end justifies the means, or something like that, so I played this instead. So once you start up the game, you get a title screen with a penguin standing on a crate, and then you get to choose between play, options, and credits. So this game is a box moving simulator like Boxel, but it's a lighter form of puzzle solving. So you move the boxes into designated places or you push them into water or other hazards. So this is like a 2D-ish 16-bit style. I wouldn't say like it's Super Nintendo 16-bit, but something that emulates that kind of quality. So you play as a cute penguin in an icy landscape trying to reach his home, this igloo. And you move boxes, wooden crates at first, and then you get other things that you have to move or interact with. So level 1 to 5 are your simple puzzles, and level 6 introduce pushing boxes into water. So you get rid of them so they aren't in your way. And if you for every reason, fail something or do something stupid, you can push the X, triangle or square or circle button to reset the level. So you can't accidentally lock yourself in or soft lock yourself. So level 10 introduces lightning switches, and these are basically batteries that you need to put down on designated places to unlock a drawbridge. And these batteries has a logo on it that looks like the old Rareware logo. So level 11 unlock the gimmick of this game. I'm actually not sure if you call it a gimmick, but you get hats every 11th level. So the first hat is just called Birthday, and it's a birthday hat. So you can collect multiple of these hats throughout your adventures. Oh yeah, before I forget, there are no ice physics in this game, even though if you're on ice, and you can push multiple boxes in a line, which you couldn't do in Boxel, or as they call it in Japan, sokoban. Level 21 introduces the cowboy hat, and the stage after that introduces the spiky blocks, and you can't move them and you can't walk into them because then you will die. But you can push boxes into them to basically dispose of them. So at level 31 you get the pirate hat, and at level 40 you are introduced to ice physics, but these physics do not apply to the penguin, thank God, just to the blocks, so no slipping around. And at level 41 you get the witch's hat, and I didn't even notice at this point. This game is very, very repetitive, and it's not even hard. The puzzles, they more or less solve themselves. So level 51 introduces the top hat, and you also get introduced to the bombs. So think Bomberman, those kind of physics, when you want to use the bombs to blow stuff up but keep out of the blast radius so you don't blast yourself away. Level 61 introduces just a cap, like a baseball cap, and you're also introduced to floating platforms, think logs. Level 61, or 67 I should say, introduces the miner cap, and at this point, at level 76, I platinumed the game, and I was like, there are levels left to go. There are 100 levels to this game, but already I had platinumed the game. At level 81 you get the chef's hat, and this level also introduces snowmen throwing snowballs. You have to block them off with blocks or just run past their snowballs. Level 91 I should say, gets you the Viking hat, and this level introduces these other ice blocks that has a very, very interesting physics to it. You push them a bit and they go a little bit, so you have to use them as sort of barriers in order to get other blocks to where they need to go. And these blocks look like car doors for some reason, or at least that's what I saw when I looked at them. So at level 100 you beat the game, you get a crown and a trophy, and you can select any level from the game if you want to play them again. And that's more or less the end of the game. There is some replay value, but let's face it, this game is not even fun. So gameplay, you're a penguin pushing around things on ice to progress to the next level and unlock hats, and that's about it. Control, the D-pad and the left stick is movement. Restarting is either the X, triangle or circle or square button, and the start button pauses. Graphics, it's really simple and charming. The snow ice and the whole emulation of the 16-bit-ish, they do a pretty good job with that. I also like the different hats that you get throughout your journey, but that's about it. Sound and music. Ted Kerr, Fazio, and Skylar the French made the soundtrack for this game, and the gameplay music is really calm and it's like a loop. So after a while it gets really grating on the ears, but it's not, too much. It's the perfect amount of annoyance, if that makes sense. Easter eggs, secrets and glitches. So I don't know if this counts or not, but you collect hats in this game. So you get different cool hats, and I don't know, that's about it. So in conclusion I wrote, if you like block puzzle games like Sokoban but want to have an even more lighter experience, maybe play this. So this game looks charming and it plays okay, but it's a little bit too easy for my taste. You can grasp the mechanics of the different boxes and blocks that you push around throughout the stages, but they aren't really puzzles. Most of the stages are just repetitive. You do the same thing over and over again, not really having any challenge to it. I remember playing like the sokoban for the PlayStation 4, and some of those levels are really brain twisters, and you have to think about where you place the boxes because they will block your progress or you will soft lock yourself. This game has no soft lock to even mention because you can push the blocks into water hazards and then all of a sudden you don't have a block to deal with. Usually it's just moving a battery pack to its designated spot and going to the island where your igloo is, and that's the whole gameplay. You get different hats, and the game was really cheap, but it wasn't really anything that I will play. This was just one of those games that I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this because I couldn't play what I wanted to play. It was a scapegoat game, maybe that's what you call it. So I can't recommend this game. Stay away from it. If you want a puzzle game like this, maybe play Sokoban because that's actually fun in my opinion. It's the right amount of challenging hurdles in it. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.